Well, first of all, I just want to say, thank you to our fans, the people of Tucson for selling out this game. The Zona Zoo, the fastest sellout ever. I think everyone's just really excited for this game on Saturday, and I just think it's going to be great to have a sold-out crowd and, all of our bunch of our football alumni coming back. Obviously, a lot of our, general student population alumni coming back. I think it's going to be a great day in Arizona Stadium, so I'm really, really excited about that.
All right, we'll start with Justin and Michael. So you mentioned 300 alumni coming back. Obviously, Khalil Tate is the honorary captain. Are there any others that we should know about this weekend?
I haven't talked to Brandon Sanders about that list yet. We've been heavy in the game plan and practice, and so I'll get that with him this afternoon.
So you guys have been on the road a few times this year. You've seen different Big 12 environments. What's your impressions of those kind of atmospheres, and how do you think Arizona can maybe implement some of that and improve?
Well, I think everyone's working hard at creating a really good game day here at Arizona Stadium. I think the biggest thing is when we have been on the road at the last 3 games, those have been completely sold out games, right? Like, I thought it was amazing when we were in Manhattan, Kansas, they canceled school that Friday for a Friday night game. It's like, people are excited for the football game, which was cool. So I think just being in those environments, and I think for all of us to see those environments, because everything is in football is stolen and borrowed, you know what I mean? And so if people have good ideas for their game day environment that we think would enhance people's experience here, then we want to adopt some of those things.
I realize that you were playing from behind a lot, and game flow or game script can dictate these kinds of things to a large degree, but I see 101 passing attempts and 62 rushing attempts the last 2 games. Would you like those numbers to be closer to equal?
Yeah, I think so. I think, there have been times where we have run the ball really efficiently. And I think last week when we were playing from behind a little bit, that just dictated a little bit more chunk plays. We were in 2-minute multiple times, so you're just going to have more throws in those situations. We would definitely like to have a little bit more balance, but it's also, I think, it depends on how people are playing us and trying to give ourselves a chance to, the best way to move the football, the best way to get first downs. I don't really care what it is, if it's throwing it or running it.
David?
Coach, maybe not on Travis Hunter's level, but have you ever been around a player in your coaching time that you guys were able to utilize on both sides of the ball like they do with him?
I have. I've never seen it. I don't think any of us have in my lifetime. Not playing as much as he does. He's playing, 90% of the snaps or something. You know what I mean? It's impressive. The kid's a great player. He's a generational player.
And in terms of, obviously, people talk about Travis Hunter, people talk about Jimmy Horn, but it seems like Western, number 10, is the one they really get the ball to a lot in the red zone. Have you had a chance to see what they're doing with him to kind of get him open in those instances?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been diving into all of that, and I think the one thing that really makes that team go is Shadur. You know what I mean? He's an awesome player, and he's really tough, and he's really strong, and you see him break tackles and get out of situations and still find a way to deliver the ball accurately. He's really impressive.
Jason?
When you game plan, is time of possession something you address, or is it just kind of a byproduct of the offense, and if you happen to have long drives, so be it?
Yeah, it's definitely, you don't necessarily talk about time of possession, I don't think. You're really just more concerned with, how do we most effectively move the football? And if that aids you in time of possession, great, but sometimes there's situations where, you would think, running the football or would help you in the time of possession, but if you're outmatched or, if you're injured at one spot and you're like, hey, that's not going to be the best way to do it, then you got to find a different way.
Justin? And so with Travis and Shadur and your guys, there's a lot of attention from NFL scouts. You guys are going to have a bunch of guys in town. What do you think just about how this game can maybe improve some draft stock for your guys?
Well, I think every game has a chance. I think the competition you play in this league is really good. So I think every game is important that way. I've been coaching a long time, and I've coached at every level. And I've had NFL players on our team when I was coaching at Cal Poly, and I've had them, here and everywhere in between. So I think, those matchups, I think maybe they mean a little bit more to the outside world than they do to those guys. I just think those guys are going to watch every play T-Mac has ever played at the University of Arizona. They're going to watch every single one. And so that's just kind of, and same thing for Travis Hunter, same thing for every guy that's, high level draft pick.
The pass rush wasn't quite as impactful this last game as it had been in previous games. Given how much Colorado passes the ball, how much they kind of spread the field, how important is it for the front four to be able to get home?
I would say that's critical every game. Like every game, you're always trying to move the quarterback off his spot. You're always trying to make him feel the rush. The thing for the group we're playing this weekend, Shedeur has played so much football. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of benefit in that, right? You're talking about thousands of snaps under center or in shotgun or whatever, but and there's value in that experience, and so I think it's really important that our defense line has to do a great job to give us a chance on Saturday.
Right. In looking at trying to find ways to fix things when you get inside the 30 and be more effective, do you ever look at what the other teams have done against you in those areas to see if there's something like that maybe would work for you?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, everything in football is stolen or borrowed. You know what I mean? But obviously, we spent a lot of time on that this week and last week.
I don't think that football's ever had the Cactus logo that you guys are going to wear on Saturday. What do you think about it?
I think it's cool. I think obviously Oregon was kind of the juggernaut on uniform combinations and making that a sexy part of college football. And I think if the players are excited about it, great. Like really for me, like I'm more concerned with how we play than I am with what's on the side of our helmet. But if the players are excited about it, great.
What have you seen from the guys this week? Because I remember, a couple weeks ago when you guys beat Utah, and you talked about how it was the best week of preparation that you guys have had. Have you seen anything like that?
We've had a great week. It's been a really good week of practice, and I was interested to see what kind of response we would get, just coming off a really frustrating day in Provo. But I think we have good leadership on this team, and we really attacked the work. It was really, really good.
Jason? When you take a look at Colorado, their attention, nothing again nationally, is all about their offense, but their defense is greatly improved from last year. What is it that you see that makes this defense effective?
Well, they've added some good pieces, so they've added some pieces. I think, that part of it you can see they're really stout up front and they play hard. The linebacker core is really, really good. And I think their back end gets all the notoriety, but, because of Shiloh and because of, but shoot, like they've done a heck of a job recruiting to that. It's been good. They're playing good D. This is a good football team we're playing. I think everybody knows that.
What stands out to you, Coach, about Demetrius Freeney's skill set if his opportunity to jump into the starting line has arrived?
Well, I think it's interesting watching their team as the pieces kind of ebb and flow, right? Like, because we're going through some of that too, right? If somebody's beat up or somebody's in, but I think he's made plays this year already, you know what I mean? And you've seen that. And so when we look at that, we're always trying to find matchups for us, but what is the best matchups with all the man covers they're playing and as much stuff they do with their front. So, I think the whole thing presents us a challenge. I don't know that it matters which guy's out there or not.
Brian? Well, I saw that you've been temporarily relocated to the stadium. Are you going to have to do walkthrough and all that out there tomorrow as well?
I'm not sure.
The walkthrough is at the stadium tomorrow.
Yeah.
We choose where we're able to go to.
Does that change anything, or is there?
No, I actually, the reason we hadn't gone to the stadium to date was because it's been really hot. You know what I mean? I think that we were just mindful of the heat situation 2 days before the game. But today was a little bit cooler, and I like practicing in the stadium. It's just been, as everyone from Tucson has explained to me, an abnormally warm October. So we haven't been in there, but if the temperatures, worked with us a little bit, I'd like to be in there, a day or two every week.
Well, yeah, when this time was announced, it was right in the middle of this heat wave, and it's, well, how bad is it going to be? And now it looks like you may be lucking out with some really great weather on that day.
I wish it was hot. Yeah, I do.
One of the players who's emerged amid all the injuries and so forth this year is Genesis Smith.
Yeah.
whether it's interceptions, his PFF grade is really high, reception percentage against is really low. He seems like a really instinctive, natural ball hawk out there. What do you see?
Yeah, I think, we saw that last spring. You know what I mean? I think everybody's been really excited about him, and his development since we've gotten here. And I think the combination of Coach Aquina and Coach RC and Coach Viney, working with all those guys in the back end, I think has been really beneficial for their development, because you have an extra person there, you have an extra voice who's really, really good, where, normally you don't have three guys that coach in the secondary. There's lots of places that only have one, but, I think we're fortunate because we have guys with good experience, and then you also have, a defense coordinator who's one of the best secondary coaches of all time. So, I think Genesis's success is not surprising to us.
It seems like when he has an opportunity to actually catch the ball and make an interception that he does, whereas Tacario has struggled with that over the last couple of years. Do you think it's like a mental thing for Tacario in that regard? Like
I don't
that one
know.
interception against BYU, it looked like he
It
almost
was
put
right.
his hands back.
It was right there. Yeah. I don't know. I think, those things sometimes happen fast. I think some guys are naturally more, better at catching the ball than others. But I'm confident Tacario will make plays for us. So, hopefully he gets a chance to get his hands on the football.
Two more, Justin and then Jason.
What have you heard regarding Alonzo Carter's history as the backup dancer to MC Hammer?
I know that story well. Yeah, like really well. What do you want to know?
Whatever you can share.
Well, you should ask Zoe about it. I have great stories with Coach Carter. We have a lot of history, but when he was he was playing college football at Cal State Hayward, and they had a kind of a hip hop group that was kind of performing in clubs in Oakland on the weekends and stuff like that, and Hammer saw them perform basically, and he asked them to come on board, and so he traveled with him for a long time and ended up being his choreographer, and he has incredible stories about his time with MC Hammer, and I've gotten to spend a little bit of time with Hammer, and he's a really good dude. And so, yeah, like Zoe, but you got to ask Zoe those stories. They're amazing. But what a cool thing, right? He's a young man. He's traveling all over the world with MC Hammer. They're performing at the Grammys. I mean, pretty cool.
Last one to Jason.
I know there's a lot more big picture in the game, but as a head coach, do you get excited by individual matchups, like man, T-Mac versus Hunter? Or is it as a fan, as a coach, you say, okay, I'm really excited to see that?
I think, sure. I mean, who wouldn't be? You're right. Two outstanding players going head to head. Who wouldn't be excited about that? I would say, in the flow of the game, I'm really not thinking that way. I'm thinking a little bit more, like you said, big picture of what's happening, down to down, play to play. But I think for everybody that's coming to the game, I think that's exciting.
All right, that's our time.
Thank you all.
All right.